Welcome back to another episode of Design Time. I am here at Tri-City Furniture in Auburn with our good friend Kathy Kilborn. Before we start, grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen to learn more information about today's topic, which is, who are you sleeping with? The answer is dust mites. We got a lot to dive into here, Kathy. So first, there can be reasons we're not sleeping well. What are some of those reasons?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. Maybe the wrong bed, maybe the wrong pillow, maybe not enough size. But maybe you have some allergies to what's going on in your bed. And so that is important to know because it will not allow you to have restful sleep.
Definitely. And what is something that can wreck your sleep?
Well, if your bed has a lot of dust mites, and dust mites just kind of show up. I don't know how they come, but they feed off of the dead skin cells of your body, and so they love to live in mattresses because that's where their food is.
It's a haven for them.
And they're you can't see them with the naked eye. They're very, very, very tiny, but if you could, this is what they look like. They're pretty ugly.
It's not a nice thought that's crawling around in your bed.
And you don't have one or two, you have millions of them because they propagate really quickly.
Yes.
So allergy to these could be it could cause you like to be sneezing and feel like a cold or something like that. So you want to be aware that this might be a problem that you have.
So those are some of the symptoms we might experience if we have an allergy to them. How do we know if we have an infestation of dust mites?
Well, you're not going to be able to see them, but if you're in bed and you're sneezing and coughing and you don't do that anywhere else, you might have an allergy to that. And so you can't see them, they don't crawl on you, they don't bite you, but they like to live in the seams, so you might see some residue, some dark spots from them being in there because they're on the bed, but they're not going to be right where you're sleeping. So it's really important to be aware of it, and then there are some things you can do to help get rid of them.
And also, how can you tell dust mites apart from bed bugs?
Well,
seem pretty similar.
They're similar, but bed bugs are bigger. And we are in that season of travel. Bed bugs love to travel. They love to, I could brush by your coat and they could cling onto me and I take them home. They could get on your suitcase. So in a season of travel, you want to be aware of those. But bed bugs are bigger. And again, they like to live in the seams. And then you would get bites on your legs because bed bugs do bite.
Well, going back to the sneezing, itching you mentioned in bed, you might think you have a cold at first with some of these symptoms. How can we get rid of dust mites if we think we have an infestation?
Well, the important thing would be to at least wash your bedding once a week. And with a hot temperature, recommend 130 degrees or hotter so that it will get them out of your bedding and it will kill them. They'll go out with the water. Also, putting them in the dryer and heating them to the hot temperature, so that does get rid of them. Vacuuming your bed so you can pull them off, and then maybe using a cover to kind of keep them out of your mattress.
Any other ways we can protect our mattress from dust mites getting into it in the first place?
Well, there are these covers that cover all 5 sides, and they won't let the dust mites in or the bed bugs. So when you're dealing with them on top, that's easier to deal with than when they're in the bed. Now, other things you can do with dust mites is you can put them like outside in your garage for 24 hours and freeze them. They do die from that. But vacuuming and having the cover are probably the easiest if you can't wash what your bedding and stuff. So there's really no really easy way. There are some essential oils like peppermint and tea tree oil that they don't like, and so that will keep them away.
Well, if you guys are just now tuning in, we are talking about dust mites. They are not actually this big. No. They are actually very small, almost impossible to see. But because they are so small, Kathy, what are some of the signs we can look for to know that we have them?
Just keeping in mind the allergy issues and then maybe some soiling along the edges of the bed, or like in this bed has quilting, you might see it down in those holes. The thing is that don't think it's just your bed. They like to live where it's humid and warm.
Okay.
And there's dead skin cells. So that could be your sofa. That could be your recliner. It could be just in your carpet. So vacuuming and cleaning those pieces as well. Don't forget that those are pieces that we live on as well, and they can be there just as much. Even sprinkling some baking soda and vacuum it out, that will help remove them. So there's a lot of things we can do, but being aware and keeping our beds clean with the bedding is probably the easiest.
Can you feel dust mites if they're crawling on you? You can't.
They're so small that, and they don't really come to you. They just want the dead skin cells. So if you have really dry skin, they're gonna like your bed.
Ugh, not good to know. But good information to have to keep them away. Kathy, are there any natural ways to eliminate dust mites besides hot water, washing, and high heat, like you mentioned?
Well, really just the essential oils. You could get a new mattress and put a cover on. They won't get into it. But in an old bed, they're going to be there because after years of use and not taking the precautions, they're going to be in that mattress. So, be aware that they're out there. In the old days, they said they would increase the weight of a mattress. Mattresses are heavy today, so I don't know if that happens
You have to have a lot of dust mites.
But that could be a lot of dust mites. You just want to make sure that you can keep them out of the mattress and, use the covers if at all possible. It just helps to keep your mattress clean and sanitary.
Well, lots of good information. Now we know exactly what to look out for.
Yes.
So, Kathy, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care of your bed because it's really important.
Clean your sheets, wash your bed, take care of it. This has been another episode of Design Time. You can find more episodes on our website as well. Just go to the 9 a.m. section of WNEM.com.